So Roma are in the news and just sacked De Rossi. I mean, there's only 4 games gone this season. Seems a bit harsh, but they are down in 17th. And that's where we come in. So we're going to take over Roma, but we're not going to do it using your traditional setups and your traditional formations, no. We're going to use this from our recent video, the ugliest tactic in Football Manager 24. So what we're going to attempt to do is create the greatest team using the ugliest tactic, all while rebuilding AS Roma into the force they should be. So this is a bit different because we're actually starting at a decent point with a team for once rather than have to build them up. They have got a good squad, but by end of this I wouldn't expect to see many of these still here because we're going to go for the greatest team we possibly can. But these great players have got to fit into that ugly ass object. So we know the tactic we're using and we do have some players that will fit quite nicely in there. Pellegrini will be a mainstay, he might even see out the whole journey. And it just so happens I've got the perfect example of a false 9 in Dybala. And this is a recently updated database thanks to Sort It Out SI, so we've got Dovbyk in from Girona. And for at least one season we've got experienced German defender Mats Hummels. So for season 1 we're pretty well set up, that's not a bad team at all. And it's probably a good job because we don't have a great deal of money to spend. From a start point of view, it's pretty good, isn't it? It's a pretty good team. I've got a few worries. For example, our boy Dybala, his contract runs out end of the season. Like I said, this is an updated database, so they've already done loads of business. 64 million out and 101 million in. Now, one of those transfers was us, the one signing we've made this season, and it is Edin Dzeko, brought him back. He's back to Roma. 3 million. He's 38, but I don't care. Look at him. He's elite. I love that guy. So we've got Dzeko now, so we've got good backups for the 2 strikers. We've got backups all over the place. We've actually got a really good squad. Now, we know this tactic is good because we used it in that video, but the potential to make it even greater with the right players is there. And you know what? In the first game of the season, things looked promising because these guys look like they enjoyed it. An opening day win with 38 shots, that's promising. We were brought back down to earth in our first match away at Juventus though, but there was reason to feel optimistic as we bounced straight back against AC Milan. And at the halfway point of the season, things were going really well. It's safe to say we're probably ahead of schedule. We're sitting second in the league, we have lost 4 times, but we're doing pretty well. All those 4 losses have came away from home, so that's maybe something to bear in mind. It's got me thinking, is there potential for an away tweak to this tactic? We keep it the same, but maybe we change a role, maybe? We kept the good form going in the second half of the season, and we avenged our defeat to Juventus earlier on. However, we do have quite a small squad, and it got exposed late in the season with a poor run. And we got knocked out of the Europa League at the quarter-final stage, and of course, it was Aston Villa.
Oh, shit.
But a strong end to the season, including this goal from our legend Edin Dzeko, meant we got Roma back into the top 4 and back into the Champions League. So I've got to be happy with that. A good overall season, back in the Champions League, which should give us a little bit of money. Now the question is, where can we start to improve this team so they work in this tactic to their maximum? So I took a look at the squad and areas we could possibly improve. We know down at right back that Saelemaekers will be going back to Milan, so we're going to need a new player in there. Wide playmaker, I've been playing Lafi at the minute. He's decent, but I feel like we could get someone truly elite to play there, so we'll open up that position as well. Same goes for inside forward. El Shaarawy has done a good job scoring 15 goals. He's out of contract. I'm going to let him go and look for somebody to come into there. The rest of the team, I'm pretty happy with, but we definitely need a new keeper. I played the whole season with a keeper that wasn't good enough. We had a good season out with Dzeko, who scored 11, but he is going to retire at 39 years of age. But the good news is we've got a ready-made replacement. Tammy Abraham spent the season out on loan at AC Milan, but I'm going to take him back. We also had Manu Kone, who didn't play a lot for us, but next season I think I'm probably going to start him. I'm convinced this tactic's really good, and I'm more convinced it'll be amazing if we get the right players. So we've had one season, we've only brought Dzeko in. This will be a big transfer window for season 2. Let's go. Into season 2 we went, and we wanted to have a reshape of the squad, and that's exactly what we have done. We let a few fringe players go, and the players that came in started with Jonathan David on a free transfer from Lille. He's going to play inside forward. I wanted a wide playmaker of talent, and I've gone for Matomo. He's either going to play there or inside forward. He might rotate with David, but he's definitely an upgrade. He cost me 26 million, which will rise to 35. I wanted an athletic player to play in defence or wing-back, and Nordi Mukalele does fit the bill. I actually think he might be better off as a wing-back. 13 million. He's going to be backed up by Festi Obaselli, one of the fastest players on the game with 18 acceleration and 19 pace. 9 million. And late in the window, we got Neymar. Now, he can play inside forward for us. He can play up front as a false 9. Any position we want. He's 33. But When I went to register him, they wouldn't let me. It said we had too many non-EU players. Now, to attempt to resolve this, I got rid of 2 non-EU players. Shomorodov went to Utrecht and Abdul Hamid went to Feyenoord. So I've got rid of them. It should be okay. But it still would not let me register him. Have I done something wrong? Let me know in the comments. I'm hoping in January that I'll be able to register him. Until then, he's just going to be chilling. So that was frustrating, but in better news, Dybala did sign a new contract for 2 years, so my false 9 is locked. And Tammy's back as well. And we got ourselves a new goalkeeper in Karnaseshi from Atalanta. So after a very lively transfer window, that's the way the team shaped up now. I think it's definitely an upgrade from last season. And the media seemed on board with it as well, ranking us 3rd at 15-2. And we started the season on stunning form. We look really good here, and teams don't look like they can deal with what we're offering, especially this upgraded team. There's Mitoma through to Tammy. This first match of the season ended 5-0. In our first away match, it ended 4-0 with another 2 goals from Tammy Abraham. And then we played Napoli, the biggest test yet. And what I like about this tactic and this formation is you can see Jonathan David there and Mitoma. There's my 2 guys down the left, and they rotate all the time. Remember, Jonathan David is the inside forward, but he's the one who picks the ball up deeper. When he picks it up deeper, Mitoma goes ahead of him. Then when David plays the ball forward, there's 2 of them down the left on now, so we've got that threat, and they're also backed up by the wide centre-back. Now, when Mitoma gets it, you can see that Jonathan David's hanging around there as well. We've got the support from the Seconde Volante, and we're still solid because we've still got these 2 defenders back there. We are causing teams no end of problems here, and Tammy Abraham is on fire. So the season started fantastically. We won 4 out of 4. I haven't conceded a goal yet, but it's all a long old season to go, so let's see how we do for season 2. So as the season went on, we turned Nordi Mukulele, a centre-back, into an absolute elite wing-back. He's already got 13 assists and it's only February. As a whole, the season was going really well. There were some banging results in the Champions League, including a 5-0 away win at Valencia. So we've qualified comfortably for that in 10th position. We're in the quarterfinals of the Coppa Italia and we're in a decent spot in 3rd place in the league, having lost 4 matches. Again, they're all away from home. Now, as you know, I love Paulo Dybala, but he just keeps getting injured. They're always just little injuries, but they're very often, so I decided to get someone else in as well. Yes, that's right. You could say this is a half-decent replacement as Messi joined as his Inter Miami contract runs out in January. He signed for 1.5 years. And the living legend only went and scored on his debut. I also got Axel Disasi in on loan from Chelsea. We can have that permanent if we want it at any point for 35 million. In the Champions League knockouts, we got Barcelona. The first leg, inspired by Messi, we battered them. It was 2-0. It could have been a lot more. Look at that. It was back and forth in the second leg, but we did enough to knock them out. That meant in the quarterfinals, we drew Real Madrid. They must have thought the nightmare was long gone. But Messi returns to haunt Madrid again, and he scored twice in the first leg. And we did enough in the second leg to knock Madrid out. We're into the semis. We're also into the Coppa Italia final, having knocked out AC Milan over 2 legs. And in Serie A, with 4 games to go, it's a 3-horse race between Lazio, ourselves and Inter. The overall state of play at this point is pretty epic. We've got the final of the Coppa Italia coming up against Inter. We're in the semis against Arsenal of the Champions League. But I really want the Serie A as well. We're on for a treble, and it's only season 2. Now, obviously, Messi plays false 9. I've been rotating Dovbeek and Tammy Abraham there, and then inside forward quite often I've played Paulo Dybala in there, but he just keeps getting injured, so most of the time it's Jonathan David who's been pretty good. That's basically been the team right the way through. First leg of the Champions League, we got murdered by Arsenal 5-2, but in the second leg we opened up. I went with an attacking mentality and we smashed them 4-1. It went all the way to penalties, but Lorenzo Pellegrini bottled it and we got knocked out. After that epic, it was time for another epic. It's the Italian Cup final against Inter Milan. We led up until the 94th minute, until this worldie levelled the scores again. It went to penalties. Pellegrini scored this time, but Tammy missed. And Dumfries scored, meaning we lose another penalty shootout. Okay, at this stage, we've gone from being on for a treble to potentially not winning anything at all, because with 1 game left, local rivals Lazio are 1 point clear of us. Too many games in a short amount of time, and straight after that Inter match, you can see there, we lost to Atalanta in another epic 4-3. We've got Genoa next.
Are you ready?
Now, my boys were right up for this one, and we took the lead early on. With Messi in the team, we've started using short, funky corners. Our goal was to get early goals to put pressure on Lazio, and that's exactly what we did. And by 40 minutes, we were already 3-0 up. We did our job, winning 4-0, And amazingly, Lazio bottled it away at Bologna, which meant in Season 2 we are Serie A champions. And I knew this tactic was great. You get the right players, you got to win things. So I think we are still ahead of schedule. We've won Serie A, obviously bringing in Messi helped, but that was the goal of this little mini save. Get the best players we possibly can for the ugliest tactic I've created.
This is football heritage.
So we've won the league, but we're going to go into it again and see where we can improve and get even better players. Now, the good news, Messi's going to stay for another season. I don't care that he's 38. He's still class. If you look at his stats for the season, he scored 11 times with 6 assists in that false 9 role at 38. So my goal for next season is to rotate him and Dybala. They've both got a year left, so them two will share the false 9 roles. The other positions are going to look to improve. Mazzala, we're going to look to improve there. Pellegrini should be way better, but he's just a bit inconsistent. So for now, he will start there, but we are going to be on the lookout for someone else. Manu Kone has arrived. He's had a great season, and this man has turned into an epic wing-back. Count them assists. 24 assists for that man. So at the back, we definitely don't need to replace him, and Dicker's a great wide centre-back as well. Mancini, very inconsistent. Big decision needs to be made about Disasi. He's very expensive to buy, over 30 million. So for now, we're going to remove these two from those positions. The wide playmaker slot is Matoma's, so in he goes. Jonathan David, I think, is a great player, but I think he's a better impact player. And then as for the strikers, we've got Dovbig and Abraham. I'm not mad at that combination, but if somebody truly world-class comes up, we will pop them in there. So I was trying to prep for Season 3, but Season 2 just wouldn't end. We were chucked into the Club World Cup, but we did have some good wins, including this one against Man City, and in the semis against PSG. So this random trophy on the end of the season that I totally forgot about, all the way to the final, losing to Madrid. But for Season 3, reshaping the squad went very well indeed. I've upgraded the defence, bringing in Laporte for a season, and Anton Rudiger. And I spent 36 million on Ousmane Dembele. He's going to play inside forward. But the biggest outlay was a brand new elite striker in Samu Omaridian. He comes in from Porto for 65 million, and also coming in was Ruben Neves. This meant our lineup for Season 3 was looking very tasty. Messi at 39 years old had one more season before he was calling it a day. And you know what, I'm a bit emotional because Messi's leaving us. He's 39, but he started the season with a bang. So into Season 3 we went. We were good, but just a little bit inconsistent. At halfway point we'd only lost 3 matches, but we were sat 4th. Despite some thumping wins, including this one, I think I got it wrong. Let me explain. In chasing this dream squad, I've done what I don't normally do and just bring loads of players in at once, and I've kind of upset the balance and chemistry a bit. But I still have a lot of faith in this weird tactic, and this win in the cup final against Juve shows that. 7-0 in a cup final. So Season 3 overall, bit of an up and down time. We got knocked out of the Champions League by Napoli, but I will say this. Every defeat we had was a bit like this, where we had all of the ball, all of the chances, but didn't quite win. Here's another example. Away at AC Milan, I mean, how are we losing that match? We finished the season 4th, so at least we're still in the Champions League, only losing 6. Top scorers, just too inconsistent, too many draws. But I did make another signing in January, ready for next season. Scalvini comes in from Atalanta, an FM favourite. An elite defender, 70 million. And we'd made room for that by selling a host of players, including Mancini to Barcelona, Cristante to Jose and Fenerbahce, and Tammy's gone to Saudi. What that means is I'm going to give myself another season because I've got what I would describe as pretty much a dream squad from what we started with. I just want one last hit at it. And remember, our boy Messi retiring next week, so we'll take him out. Laporte, we had him for a season, but he's going to PSG. Other areas we can potentially improve is central midfield. I rotate a lot. I've got Neves, Pellegrini, Manu Kone, and then I'm just wondering, who are we going to get in for false 9? And Dembele, much like real life, injured all the time. His recent one, 4 months. So maybe someone in that position as well. But it's Season 4, it's the last one, and this has been a right fun rebuild with Roma. Not the usual style that anyone would do, using the tactic that is absolutely ridiculous. But going into the final season, we are second favourites, and I think there's a big reason for that. And here's one of them. Kvaratskhelia comes in from Napoli. They gave him us for peanuts. 13 million, are you sure? I wasn't going to turn that down. I've also brought in Marcus Thuram from Chelsea, and Fabian as well. They cost me about 40 million each. I took Hakan from Inter for 6, and Milan Skriniar from PSG. That means I've now got the best squad we'll ever have for this formation. I mean, look at it. The defence sorts itself out. Midfield, you've got a choice of Neves, Pellegrini, Fabian, Hakan, it's ridiculous. Then we've got Kvaratskhelia backing up Samu and Thuram. Not to mention Esposito that are signed for the future, who's already valued at 45 million after a couple of loan moves. Yeah, this team is elite, and no matter what happens at the end of this season, I'm going to carry this save on, and I'll put updates in Patreon because what a team. What we've done here is we've took our time, we've built our team, and we have got our dream team without changing this tactic. And this performance against AC Milan showed we're onto a good thing. And that was emphasised by this away victory at Juve. In fact, that first half of the season was only one defeat, and that was to Lazio, and some bumping wins throughout. I was intrigued about the average positions. We covered this in the original vid, but with this team, how did it affect it? And you can see we look like a pretty solid back three there, and Mukiele at wing back. Remember, he starts in line with these three, but he's basically in line with our midfielders now. Licensed to roam. Speaking of Mukiele, he's a centre back, but we have made him into a fantastic wing back. I mean, he's got 40 assists for us now already in 3 seasons. And at the halfway point of the season, with just that one defeat, only conceding 8, scoring 60. Similar story in the Champions League. And that signing was indeed huge. The biggest bargain ever for 13 million. He scored 15 times and 16 assists in 19 matches, with an average rating so far of 8.34. Cheers, Napoli. Second half of the season, that form just carried on. And we smashed Serie A with 101 points and a goal difference of plus 100. 33 wins, only 3 losses, and we scored 131 times. See, even the most weird tactics, when you get the right players into it, can absolutely smash it. And we did the double, getting our second successive cup, thanks to a 93rd minute winner. And we had 10 men from the 16th minute.
Heritage.
That just left the Champions League, and would you believe it, we drew Arsenal again in the semis. First leg at our spot, smashed them 3-1. And in the second leg, a complete reversal of what happened the last time we met them. They got it back, and it went to penalties again. It can't happen again, can it? So for a place in the Champions League final, our top scorer, elite striker Samu, steps up. You know the rest. Another semi-final defeat on penalties to Arsenal. But I won't hold it against him too much because he ended the season with 39 goals. I mean, overall, that was fantastic. We've built a team in 4 seasons, and we've done it without breaking the bank too much. We've brought a lot of players in, but we've got a lot of players out, so decent money. But that team is ridiculous. Like, I couldn't get players in. Dembele could not get anywhere near Kvaratskhelia. He only started 5 times, and you've got the likes of Fabian. He only started 14 games. I don't even think Hakan got on the pitch much. Didn't even start, bless him. 34 years old. He'll be on his way out. Stunning bench, stunning overall squad. I love that tactic. I love it. So not bad 4 seasons in charge of Roma. First season was just establishing them, wasn't it? And getting in that Champions League. Then we got the title, probably ahead of schedule. And the 3rd season was a mistake. That's a lesson. Too many players in at once. Chemistry was all over the place. But this season, absolutely killed it. Killed it. Quality of players was too much for Serie A. So that's where we leave it. I am very tempted to do another weird tactic style rebuild again because that was fun. So we say goodbye to that tactic. If you are interested in that tactic, there is another video with all those instructions on it. Question is, what's next?